Hi, welcome to Fiber Focus, the Sumitomo Electric Lightwave podcast where we explore the world of fiber optics and all things connectivity. Today we're here with Lauren Deloatch, who is a project manager with SEL, and we're going to be talking about training initiatives and how people can get into the fiber optic industry. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Meredith. Thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to
Thank
talk to
you for coming. So we are meeting for the first time today.
Yes.
Can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be here today?
Sure. So I like to say that I fell into fiber. I really didn't know what it is. And I think it's really common for the average person to not have any idea kind of how our infrastructure works at all. At the time, I was the marketing director at some golf courses and was running around doing Easter egg hunts and lobster nights. And one of the vice presidents here at Sumitomo at the time kind of saw how hard I worked and said, let's see, right? And I got the job description from him, said, I'm not qualified. What is this? I have no idea what this is. But we went with it, and I did a year inside and learned kind of the program. And I say all that just because we're really talking today about people who maybe are like me and never heard about fiber before, and they can pique their interest and see if they want to join the industry as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fiber optic networks is not common knowledge for people. And if you're somebody who can learn and is curious and a hard worker like you are, there's a spot for you in the industry.
Yeah, I think so too. I think as we dig into a little bit more, we're going to see that all kinds of people in all kinds of backgrounds could make a good fit and find a path here. I know I did, and they put me out in front of a customer after the first year, and that really helped me evolve into what we're doing today. So my role is on the global hyperscale support team. And primarily in working with one of our large hyperscale customers, I work with their installers to train them on our products. And from that, it's continued to evolve to where we've created a program where we can help get people who could potentially work for these installers. So we've created a 2-day course that's completely free of charge to join so that they can actually learn some of the mechanics behind fusion splicing and what it would look like to work in this industry with that as a potentially entry-level position to start in.
Can you talk a little bit about why workforce development is so important, especially right now?
Yeah, I would say generally speaking, there's an increase for the trades in every aspect. So fiber optics is what we'll kind of focus on today, but anything involving building a data center, plumbing, electrician, HVAC, all of that is incredibly necessary right now. And think about how many smartphones and different devices that we all have, right? That demand for this connectivity is pertinent and pushing us in this direction. The average household actually has 17 internet-connected devices. So can you imagine, just if you're at home, maybe during COVID, you had some streaming issues potentially. If you had a bunch of kids who were trying to do schooling online, you maybe had your own video calls to maintain. It really showed that we had an extraordinary issue, honestly, in the industry. Actually, even last year, the Department of Commerce has said that the labor shortage just for fiber splicing technicians alone is over a 200,000 person shortage. So I really am so passionate about this, as you might be able to tell, because I want to get people in the industry. There's a huge need for it, but it's also a really awesome opportunity for people to kind of make a career path for themselves.
So your passion is admirable, and it shines through.
Thank you.
And I hear that you have created a Fusion Splice training certificate.
That's right. So our customer, who we were doing these trainings for kind of with their own installers, came to us and said, we are really seeing that we need this. This was back in 2018. And by 2019, we launched a Fusion Splicing Certificate Course. It's a 2-day course, like I mentioned before, where we go through theory and then actually do some hands-on applications. And at the very end of the 2 days, we have a networking event where I bring in employers and I interview them even about what it looks like to be in the industry and what kind of opportunities are in that market. But especially as this customer is building into new markets and they are seeing a need in a location where maybe there isn't already a talent pool, they're kind of helping to push this evolution with this course.
Anybody who's listening to this who is seeing themselves maybe in this opportunity, what do they need to bring to the table in terms of skill and experience, any certain education or certifications coming in?
Sure. So that's the best part about this fusion splicing technician. We'll use that as the kind of primary example as a way to enter into the industry. You don't need any education specifically. I think the only real requirement is that you have to be over 18. Most of the companies won't hire under that. So probably a high school degree at that point by the time that you've aged into it. We do find that maybe a certificate like this shows some interest, but it is not required at all, which is wonderful. Realistically, anybody who has aptitudes potentially toward any real hands-on trade, like if you like to have a different day every day, if you don't want to be sitting behind a desk in general, that's a great way to start. Even once you're in there, you can learn so much on the job. In fact, it's really kind of the only way to learn, honestly, outside of a certificate program. That's great base knowledge, but you're going to follow and shadow other people who have been doing this for years to kind of get the ropes, honestly. But other than that, a willingness to learn, to show up, to be reliable. I think some of those soft skills are actually even more important than any education or certifications.
With all of the demand on networks and with networks needing to power, for lack of a better word, increasing number of devices. And like you mentioned during COVID, the demand on networks for work and for education, but beyond that, for entertainment, right? Like people were stuck at home and all of their entertainment was largely being streamed, and even their telehealth services, like everything was moving to the digital.
Yeah, fiber optics is used in so many different applications that people don't maybe even realize. I mean, they all probably get frustrated if a text isn't going through, right? But they don't understand all of that. On my panel in these courses, I ask as a closing question to everyone, what's your favorite part of the industry? And then I always end with mine. It's a bit of a metaphor, but we've taken 2 days where they actually learn to connect fibers. But to me, that is such a metaphor for what we're doing. We are connecting people every day, whether it's a FaceTime to your mom because you weren't able to get to see her in a few months since the last holiday, maybe. It's a group meeting for a school project where you can get together remotely versus in person based on other people's schedules. It's being able to talk about the shows that you're streaming and are really excited about. All of that connects us, and literally that connection is founded on something as simple as splicing 2 pieces of glass together.
Yes. And those connections, it's not a one and done, right? Like you build the network needs to expand, the fiber counts go up. And beyond the initial installation, there's all sorts of emergency restoration and repair. And that is largely done by Fusion Splicers.
Technicians. And we do warn them, like not everybody's going to get the glamorous in a data center job right away where they just get to splice our 6,912 fiber count cable over and over again. You might be the one at 3 o'clock in the morning, your first year going up to a telephone pole, right? Or you might be the person who's got to have a customer facing role doing fiber to the home. So there's a lot that we try to prepare them for. But yes, it does help us connect, and all of those components in every application all comes together.
Oh, it's important work. So how would one get started? What would you recommend as, kind of first steps, resources?
Sure. I mean, there's a ton of opportunities. You can certainly search for a course like ours. If you want to come to ours specifically, it's aws-workforce.pearson.com. But if not, search for your local community colleges and trade schools. See what kind of programs they have. Outside of just a 2-day course, they could have a 6-week program that goes more specifically maybe into whole data center technicians. Because maybe you want to start with fiber splicing, but you want to think about what the next step in progression could be. And maybe that's working inside a data center as well. Or you can see how that kind of ties into the other trades and what kind of programs they have. One of the programs that has evolved even from the 2-day that we've started is we've been put into a 4-week program that our customer developed where fiber is just a segment of that. So that website also talks about a longer form program as well. And if there's nothing in your area yet, don't worry. That's a huge reason these workforce teams are in place right now to help kind of get everybody up to speed. When I was in college, not only did I not know about this, but I don't think programs like this really even existed. not to age myself, but you can also kind of look toward the Fiber Broadband Association or Fiber Optic Associations. Take a look at kind of our boards, if you will, to see what they have offered as well, because they have some online courses where they might be able to kind of lead you to another area close by.
We will link all of those resources in the show notes. That is
so much easier.
Terrific list and been very helpful having you on here today. I hope that our audience finds this to be valuable. And I want to thank you and applaud Sumitomo Electric Lightwave for not just making the products and, developing the solutions to build that the networks are built with, but also turning their attention and having a resource in place who can help people to, fill the roles that make those networks possible.
I mean, I can't push collaboration enough. Honestly, none of us can make the network happen without the hyperscalers themselves, the installers, and the manufacturers. So thank you for adding that in, because collaboration has been a tremendous, huge part of what we've done to get this accomplished.
Thanks so much, Lauren. And thank you for joining us today. We hope you will subscribe, share this episode with your colleagues, and check out the next episode coming soon.